Okay, ji. Could I have everybody's attention again? Second topic we're going to cover, जो in fact मैंने जिशान साहब को कहा था कि ये ज़रूर है ना करें. I want to do this with you guys. This is something I really wanted to do, which I think is extremely important. क्योंकि law आपको सब सिखा देते हैं और अच्छी बात है कि ये सारा कुछ हो रहा है, बट एक चीज हम मिस कर लेते हैं कि क्लाइंट से कैसे बात करनी है और क्लाइंट को कैसे हैंडल करना है. सो दैट इज समथिंग that I think is extremely important, equally important. What is your perception, or what are their perception about you, what is required? This is what we're going to deal with. Client and lawyers interaction. जब आपने केस मिलता है आपको, चाहे वो एक प्रो बोनो ही केस हो, कोई अम्मी की खाला की दोस्त ने भेज दिया हो, use these techniques. Eventually 10 years from now, when you're a professional, you're 5 years from now, these will help you build your reputation as a very professional lawyer. So I think it's extremely important to be professional when you're meeting your client, because it's not just one case that you get. This client is going to refer you to another client and say कि हाँ वो तो बड़े professional. So this conference is about your meeting of getting instructions, your understanding of what the case is और किस तरीके से आपने client को handle करना है. That's what we're going to now study or do. Objective. I hope by the end of this little session, this session that we're doing, our objective is to acquire the ability to conduct a professional, efficient client conference. Be alert to potential difficulties that may arise in the course of client-lawyer relationship. Be aware of the professional conduct, ethical issues that arise in conference with the ethical issues. क्या हो सकते हैं between lawyer and client? Someone, what do you think would be the ethical issues? Yes. Misguide करेंगे. What else? Yes, you are. वो भी misguiding में आएगा. I would also suggest or also advise के over the top friendly with another client, or the client could be over the top friendly with you. And then there are ethical issues, because then there is no professional ethics in that. For you to have a solid professional ethics, you need to know who you are and who your client is. There should always be, I tell you, always be an arm's length, distance, in the sense कि उनको पता हो कि भाई दोस्त नहीं है कि हर 4 घंटे बाद में फोन करके उसे पूछो. Similarly for women here, do not be over friendly just because you've got a case. औरत client है या मर्द client है, make sure they understand that your only job is to argue before them in court. That's it. So that is something that I wanted to kind of bring into discussion. Dangers of preconception. हमारे पास कौन से केसेस हैं जो बड़े जिसमें एक पब्लिक का परसेप्शन था. आई वुड से ज़ैनब का केस था, देन आई थिंक उसके बाद जाहिर जाफर और नूर मुकद्दम का केस आया. उससे पहले जावेद इकबाल का केस था जिसे वो 100 बच्चों के साथ अब्यूज करके. नाउ what is the perception when I'm saying all these names? The instant perception is that they're criminals. What is the public perception of it? The public perception are these are the bad guys. They cannot be getting any justice. Similarly, if it is somebody who is a big politician who comes to your office, फौरन आपकी इंटिमिडेशन जो है वहां से आ जाएगी कि भाई वो पैसा बड़ा होगा इसके पास, क्लाइंट मुझे बड़े अच्छे मिल गए. So these are called preconceptions. When the client walks in, you have decided. उसकी शक्ल अगर वो इतने उसके लंबे बाल हैं और वो कहता है मैंने कत्ल नहीं किया, अगर आपको उसकी शक्ल से लग रहा है कि वो कातिल लग रहा है, तो आपने पहली वकील को कभी प्रीकंसेप्शन नहीं बनाना चाहिए. Do not have preconceptions about your client. They affect us in many ways, consciously, subconsciously. They affect the way we label, assess, judge people, how we behave towards them, हमारी क्या expectations हैं. So if it is a very rich businessman, instant your fee is going to go higher, or you know he's going to give me fee. That has to stop because that's a preconception. Preconception can be both positive and negative. Positive, like I've said, it could give you more cases if he's from a company or well established. Bad kya hai? He looks like somebody who's committed the murder. So आपको ये सिखाते हैं कि अगर एटीएम पे पाकिस्तान में कितने चाइनीज हैं जिनके पर्पल बाल हैं. एटीएम में चोरी, like somebody destroy the ATM machine, वहां से उसे पैसे निकाले. CCTV फुटेज पे पर्पल बालों वाला चाइनीज बंदा नजर आता है. वो आपके पास आ जाता है, वो आप उसको CCTV फुटेज दिखा रहे हो, कह रहे हैं इट्स नॉट मी. I am telling you it's a case of mistaken identity. Now are you going to say कि नहीं it's you? Because पाकिस्तान में कितने लोग हैं जिनके लाल बाल हैं या पर्पल बाल हैं? No, you're not. Your belief does not matter, they say. You see, your knowledge comes from what he is going to tell you. So do not bother about what your personal thinking or opinion is about him. He is saying it's not him. You go to court the next day and you say, Your Lordship, Your Honor, Judge Saab, according to my client, this is a case of mistaken identity. He was not present at the scene. This is how you have to work. This is because you're going to protect yourself from dangers of preconception. You must respect those differences at all times. At all costs, avoid forming a preconception about individuals that could adversely affect your judgment of them and their case. कितने लोग यहाँ पे अभी कुलभूषण यादव को represent करेंगे? He needs a lawyer. How many of you will go and represent him? Good. Right to fair trial है ना? जो भी, या how many of you would want to represent Zahir Jafar? या motorway incident हुआ था, वो माँ थी और उसके साथ 3 बच्चे थे, she was raped brutally. आप जाके वहां पे वो जो उनको accused को आप represent करेंगे? नहीं. पब्लिक परसेप्शन बन गया, टीवी पे मीडिया पे आ गया. अगर आप करेंगे, automatically they will think you are somebody who is promoting injustice. You are somebody who is promoting people who are rapists, murderers, robbers, even those who are agents. Stop doing that. Think of yourself as someone who is your only job is one, to speak on behalf of your client. That's it. That is why I say your body language and your voice is important. Nothing else. Your opinion, nobody. Do not be the police yourself. Nobody is asking you to be an investigator either. So these are the things about preconceptions that I wanted to talk about. Absolutely crucial that at all times when you are acting in your professional capacity, non-judgmental objective. So अगर कुलभूषण यादव भी आपके पास आ रहा है, आपने नहीं करना. आपका अगर आप बाहर जाके प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, at times you find people, या आपके पास ऐसी organizations आती हैं जो कहीं आपके religious beliefs के साथ भी वो affect कर सकती हैं. So you just have to see and ascertain what you have to do at that time. These 2 rules above all are fundamental and critical to your ability to be a successful practitioner. So the first thing I'll say about your practice, no preconceptions. Place of conference. Like I said, it is your first interaction of getting your case instructions. A place of conference जरूरी नहीं है वो हर वक्त दफ्तर में आए. और अदालत जब आपकी प्रैक्टिस शुरू होती है, आपका आधा दिन तो अदालतों में घूम रहा होता है कि कभी आप इधर होंगे ऐवान अदल, तो वहीं पे आधे घंटे बाद आपने हाई कोर्ट पहुंचना है. सो ये नहीं है कि आप दफ्तर में बैठेंगे. एट टाइम सुबह आपके 8 बजे अगर अर्जेंट लगी हुई है हाई कोर्ट में, तो वहीं पे कोई बंदा आ जाता है, वो कहता है कि भाई मेरी प्री अरेस्ट लगी हुई है, प्लीज डू इट. दैट्स व्हेयर यू डू द कॉन्फ्रेंस. दैट्स place of conference. So during your practice, it is not unusual to conduct a conference in a crowded, noisy corridor of magistrate court. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. Through the bars of a prison cell, of course. अगर आपका client या जेल में है तो वहां पे आपकी होगी. And obviously at the steps of a courtroom or your law chambers, many times you get your clients in court as well. I get them. A lot of times I'm arguing and I get out of the court and people are standing and they say, Oji, please could we have your card? That's how you make your clientele, your network. So it could be anywhere. So that's what you have to remember. Every client is different. Every client is an individual. Every client will have particular needs to which we will have different consideration. Common things. क्लाइंट की भी प्रीकंसेप्शंस होंगी, क्लाइंट के भी कुछ, वो जब आपके पास आएगा ना उसके पास भी कुछ चीजें हैं. पहली चीज, आपके पास क्लाइंट जब भी आएगा, चाहे वो मर्डर केस है, रेप केस है, सूट फॉर स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस है, डेफेमेशन केस है, व्हाटएवर law it is, he will come in his best to you. The most innocent, the most victimized, the best person will come to you, and he will walk on what? The first point. What will counsel think of me? मेरे साथ बहुत बुरा हो गया, मेरे साथ नाइंसाफी हुई है. So this is their first way of interacting with you. कभी कभी, for instance, if he is an accused who is accused of murdering his own children, अब वैसे जब केस आते हैं तो उसमें उनका जो मेंटल हालत है वो ऐसी नहीं होती कि आपको कुछ समझ आए. Sometimes they break down in your office. Sometimes they are overly dramatic into explaining what has happened, or she could do it. She's crying, she's screaming, she could do it. Okay, can you hear me? Sure. So this reaction of your client could be not anticipated ever, because every client is going to be different. Every client's first interaction with you is going to be either not dramatic or very dramatic or over dramatic. I don't want to hear that आपको जेल ही होनी है, आपको पकड़ लिया है, आपके हाथ फिंगरप्रिंट्स भी मिल गए हैं, आपने जो असला इस्तेमाल किया था वो भी मिल गया, लाइसेंस भी आपके नाम पे, वो ये सजा है, ये आपके ऑफेंसेस हैं, इसमें कम से कम 7 साल है, बच गए तो शायद आपको समथिंग ऑन दोस लाइंस, ये आपकी एडवाइस है कंसीडरिंग द सर्कमस्टेंस. दे डोंट वांट टू हियर दैट. आप बताएं बेल कैसे होती है? बेल नहीं हो सकती इस केस. सो दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट यू विल हैव टू एड्रेस at various times when you have meeting with your client. Name throwing बड़ी होती है. The moment you start a case, you will see कि client आपके पास आएगा, वो चली मैं तो उन जज को भी जानती हूँ और वो जो बार के वो सदर हैं वो मेरे रिश्तेदार हैं. I hate it. That's something that I have, also experienced, where they try to intimidate your own lawyer by saying, oh, मैं उनको भी जानती हूँ. That's how they try to grasp over you or kind of have that impact over you. Intimidating factor put करते हैं अपने client, अपने वकील पे. मत होने. अगर कोई ज्यादा करता है, tell them to take their files out. That is something that should be there. There should be no name throwing of who they are and how big position there is for them. It should only matter who you are, and for you it should only matter that he's just a client and I have to represent him or her in the best of my ability in court. अच्छा जी, client expectations शुरू में पहले क्या है? Can I win? Every client wants to win the case. They will never find a client who will say कि जी 50-50 कोई mediation करा दें. उसको बस ये होगा कि 100% आपने उसको केस जितवाना है. और हम क्या करते हैं? हम कहते हैं जी कोई मसला नहीं है, हम तो जितवा देंगे. ये करना छोड़ दें. Stop saying that. I disagree. Just say I'll do the best of my ability. मेरे से जितना हो सके मैं करूंगा. And that's it. Stop giving these over the top expectations. और फिर आपको पता है कि अदालतों का जो हाल है, जो आप कहते हैं मैं 6 महीने में करूंगा, वो 6 साल लग जाते हैं. So that's where the harassment starts, or constant calling and all of that. So be clear about that when he says can I win. What are my chances? Be truthful about that. We have found, the police has found so much evidence against you. Chances are low कि आपको indictment या आपकी conviction ना हो. व्हाट इफ आई लूज, बड़ा क्लियरली बताते हैं ये आपका जेल टाइम है, ये आपकी शायद आपको फाइन हो, समथिंग ऑन दोस लाइंस. What if it any, are there any alternatives? Mediation में जा सकते हैं, we can offer other things depending on the kind of case that you have. How much will it cost me? Be direct about it. One thing that I like you to do, आपकी जो fee है, be clear about upfront fee. I suggest in a country like Pakistan where people give you promises of case चलना शुरू हो जाए तो फिर हम आधी पे बाद में करेंगे. डोंट डू दैट. यू नीड टू रन योर हाउस. आपका ब्रेड एंड बटर है, ये पूरा प्रोफेशन है. आप लोग इसको प्रोफेशनल बनाएंगे इन द सेंस कि आप अपनी फी का एक सिस्टम रखेंगे तो आगे जाके ये चीज सही होगी. मगर ये जो होता है कि जी अभी 20,000 और उसके बाद 6 महीने बाद एक और 20,000 ही करना छोड़ दो. अप फ्रंट गिव वैल्यू टू योर एग्जिस्टेंस. You have studied and you have attained one of the finest degrees of the world. You are now inshallah becoming a law professional. So you put a price tag to your profession. If you're going to start by getting all these getting into this trap, then you are doing a disservice to this profession. Upfront feel it and then do the work. At any time kharcha zyada hai, send your bill. Be professional about it. Send it in a printed form. मैंने तो खैर I might be able to do that at some time, but do it in a very professional manner. Not allowed. Client के साथ मीटिंग हो रही है दफ्तर में, please don't go in your t-shirt and jeans. Please don't do that. I would want that you are properly, solidly dressed. Doesn't mean you need to wear your lawyer's uniform, but wear a nice suit, wear a nice shalwar kameez, suggesting maybe a solid color shalwar kameez if you're meeting someone for the first time. Do not be late. Late होने की जरूरत नहीं है, अगर हैं तो पहले आधा घंटा पहले बता दें. Phone ringing during conference mic. The client is all trying to explain to you how badly he wants you to file this case. अब वो बात कर रहा है या कर रही है और वहीं पे अगर आप अपना फोन उठा के अपना फेसबुक चेक कर रहे हैं और आप चेक कर रहे हैं कि आपके कितने लाइक्स हैं और साथ ही स्माइल आ रही है और आप साथ टेक्स्ट मैसेज कर रहे हैं, डोंट डू दैट. ये जो मैं अभी बातें बता रही हूँ ना, अगर इसको अभी आई प्रिज्यूम यू आर ऑल इन योर 20s और अगर इस चीज को सॉलिडली फॉलो करोगे ना अगले 10 साल के लिए, आई टेल यू ऑल ऑफ यू विल हैव इंशाल्लाह फैंटास्टिक. मेक योरसेल्फ, गिव योरसेल्फ दैट वैल्यू that you want to give yourself value in another 15 years. So please don't do that. Do not forget to bring your pen, paper or laptop. जो वो बात कर रहा है या कर रही है उसके इंस्ट्रक्शंस साथ साथ ले. अगर बड़ा दफ्तर है या अपने एसोसिएट को रखें, but I would still suggest कि वो हमें प्रैक्टिस कराते हैं of taking notes. In England आपके पास जज भी होगा ना, वो खुद अपने पेपर पे लिख रहा होगा, वो टाइप नहीं कर रहा होगा. So those old school things, it helps you understand what you are as a professional. So अभी इस पे कि just because I have a big law firm or I've gotten और मैं अपने किसी मुंशी को लेके जा रहा हूँ और वो लिख रहे हैं, मत करें, खुद लिखें. मैं आज तक खुद लिखती हूँ. I like doing. Why? Because it gives me that it gives the client that personal touch that by my lawyer is actually asking me questions और उसी वक्त मैं जवाब दे रहा हूँ और कोई एक अच्छा एक वो सॉलिड एक बॉन्डिंग हो जाती है. Interaction during the conference, your client is looking to you for professional reason, accurate advice. The way you handle the client in conference on both verbal or non-verbal level will affect the way. So सवाल कैसे पूछने हैं, I'll be shedding some light to that. How are you going to conduct a successful conference with the client? Closed off, unapproachable जो वकील होंगे जो बहुत ही completely कि ओ जी मेरे से तो बात ही नहीं आप कर सकते जितनी देर तक आप 6 अपॉइंटमेंट्स ना लें, या इनफॉर्मल और ओवर फ्रेंडली ना आप क्लोज्ड ऑफ हो कि दूसरा लगे कि वो आपसे बात ना कर सके, और ना ही आप ओवर फ्रेंडली हो where they will take undue advantage of you being more over friendly. And I am specifically saying it to my lady friends here, do not be over friendly. I think ये चीज औरतों में है कि फीमेल और आपकी क्लाइंट्स वगैरह आ जाती हैं, you become friends. None of my female clients are my friends, or my male clients are my friends. No, I've made it very, very clear. And if anyone who tries to be friendly, out. Why? Because in the country that we are in, people do not take women lawyers seriously. And we need to reflect upon ourselves where we're doing wrong. So one, we have to dress appropriately. Secondly, we're not going to be over friendly, and even for you boys as well. You have to make sure कि कोई भी ऐसा नहीं है जो तुम लोगों को intimidate करे. So that's what it is. Body language, lack of eye contact. बार बार लिख रहे हैं सिर्फ. No, you need to have eye contact with the client. Ask question. Fidgeting with clothes, objects, pen tapping, arms folded, slouched in chair. And now I'm speaking. I'm asking. They probably think they don't want to talk to me, right? They probably go to some other lawyer. Nervous, erratic movement, hunched posture. This is hunch. Checking phone, taking calls on social media, texting. Please don't do that. Phone should be on silent when you are having a conference with your client. So, in essence, what I'm trying to say is that quality of professionalism that we saw in while we were studying other things कि आपने अदालत में कैसे बात करनी है जज की, why is it कि हमारी वो quality जो है वो कम हो जाती है या नहीं होती जब हम client से बात करते हैं. And I think that is why we don't get continuous client when we're not professional, right? So that's something that will help. Impact of body language needs to be considered both for the professional communicating with the client, also with the client's own body language. What is he indicating? He's fidgeting and he's all nervous and he says that I did not commit this crime. I was forced to do it. What is it that you want? You're not going to now question him. वो जो बता रहा है उसके मगर there is some sort of thing that you would probably have attained by his body language as well. However, you should avoid jumping to conclusion, stereotyping the client. We've done this. Example, clients that you might consider to be shifty looking, like I've said, you know, he's dodgy, ajeeb sa wo lag raha hai, might in fact be just nervous about the situation they're faced with. A lot of people break down, they cry, they shout, they go through a lot of mental trauma if they have been accused, if they have been victimized. So you are in no place, like I've said, do not be the judge, jury, executioner at the time of conference. Bore ho jaye, unprofessional lagega, slouching, done this for cross-examination. Pacing around the room while he's talking, I'm looking over there. She's talking to me and we do that. She's talking to me and I'm looking over there at the fan. I am showing my disinterest. I cannot do that. Nervously wringing your hands nervously, you're unlikely to install the confidence and trust your client. Your client wants you to be their voice in court. और वो तभी बनती है अगर आप एक सक्सेसफुल कॉन्फ्रेंस कर लें, तभी यू अटेन अ गुड क्लाइंट लॉयर रिलेशनशिप. यू शुड नॉट नेसेसरली अज्यूम दैट योर क्लाइंट अंडरस्टैंड्स द एडवाइस. आप उसको कह रहे हैं दफा 420 के तहत आपको ये लगेगा और उसमें हम यहाँ पे जाएंगे और ये दीवानी केस बनता है और उसमें दे हैव नो आइडिया व्हाट यू से. यू हैव टू स्पीक और गिव एडवाइस इन अ लैंग्वेज एज पर your client's understanding. Your client, और ये भी है कि you will get all kinds of clients. You would get somebody from Punjab. At times you may get somebody from another country. I get a lot of international clients. Once I've got Uzbek client who had no idea what English was. You see, so you have to find other ways. Maybe get a translator. I have Chinese clients. They cannot speak English. They cannot speak Urdu. What do I do? So I get a translator. So अपना mind जो है उसको broaden करें to understand कि हर client की एक different need होगी. Apart from that, you have vulnerable clients. Vulnerable clients कौन से होंगे? Rape victim. It could be a child abuse victim. छोटा बच्चा उसका rape हुआ, उस पे आपने किस तरीके से उससे बात करनी है. It could be someone who is visually impaired, नजर नहीं आ रहा है या बड़ा काम होता है, तो फिर आपने क्या करना है, जब दफ्तर में आते हैं तो फॉन्ट बड़ा कर देना है, और ताकि वो जब रीड कर रही हो या कर रहा हो, they can understand. Cannot hear. These are the things that you have to do to make sure your client is comfortable. He understands that you understand. Manner and tone. Remain measured in distance from your client. I've said that. No need to get overly friendly with them. Avoid being over sympathetic. एक तो ये चीज खुदा के लिए करना बंद कर दें. I mean कि this is something that I see. उसके शोल्डर पे हाथ रख रहे हैं. You know यार we'll win. No, you don't need to do that. Stop doing. There should be like a no touch policy. कि वो रो रही है कि हाय मेरे बच्चे ले गया वो, और आप उसको हक कर रही हैं और आप कह रही कि इंशाल्लाह मैं बच्चे ला दूंगी. मत करें. I'll try. No, that's what we do. We're not going to do that. We'll try our best to do. Stop becoming the best friend of your client. You're not there for that. Stop becoming his counselor, the psychological, वो जो psychiatrist के पास जाने के बगैर वो वकीलों से आदि mental therapy ले रहे होते हैं. Stop doing that. So you're not going to be over sympathetic. Whilst it is not appropriate for you to raise your voice to your client, you do need to retain control of the conference. कभी कभी कॉन्फ्रेंस में या जब आप इंस्ट्रक्शंस ले रहे होते हैं, अनड्यू इंफॉर्मेशन जो है क्लाइंट आपको सुनाना शुरू कर देता है, और टाइम नहीं होता क्योंकि अगले केस की तैयारी करनी होती है जो सुबह लगा होता है 8 बजे या 9 बजे. So what do? You control the conference. So you've asked her what has happened. सैटरडे को क्या हुआ था, तो वो पहले वो शुरू करेगी. अम्मी का फोन आया था, अम्मी बता रही थी कि खाला के साथ लड़ाई हो गई क्योंकि उनकी जो नेबर है वो आ गई. उसके बाद मेरी बेटी जो थी, what she is doing, she is getting off track. She is not getting to the point in issue. So you will control. अच्छा वो सही है, आप मुझे ये बताएं उसके बाद क्या हो. So you have to control the conference so you get the most important bits of instruction from the client, or all of the proper instruction. To this end, you may need to take a firm tone with your client in order to deal with any outstanding issue. अगर मैंने पहले ही उसको हाथ करके कह दिया कि हाय मैं तुम्हारे बच्चे लेके आऊंगी, और उसके बाद अगर कॉन्फ्रेंस में वो ओवर द टॉप इंफॉर्मेशन दे रही है about her best friends, you won't be able to control that. That is why it is so important to have an arm's distance relationship. So you use that tone. So could you kindly now tell me? Okay, that's fine, but can you please now tell me कि उस दिन क्या हो? आप बार बार वो बात कर रही हैं, आप प्लीज मुझे उस पर बताएं. So आपकी आवाज का मैनर चेंज हो जाएगा, और अगर आप ओवर फ्रेंडली होंगे तो फिर उसकी कोई वैल्यू नहीं होगी. So that is why it is extremely important. Clear language में, like I've said, if it's a vulnerable client as well, how you have to speak to them. Language such a client, agar, like I've said, if they're deaf, use sign language. Non-judgmental, I've done this before as well. Stop being judgmental about them, and don't use non-verbal indicators about his personality or lifestyle. So if it's a big celebrity जिसके 400-500 लड़कियों के साथ अफेयर्स है, और आपको पता है कि भाई वो ऐसा ही है और उसके ऊपर कोई मर्डर का केस है या रेप का केस है, तो आपने कहना वो उसी ने किया है, भाई उसकी तो 400 गर्लफ्रेंड पहले ही थी. ये आपने नहीं करना. Questions. Now this is the technique I'm going to teach you. Every lawyer needs to understand the effect of type of questions that you need to ask your client during conferences. केस बनाने के लिए कौन से सवाल करने जरूरी हैं जब आपने अपना प्लेंट eventually जो बनाना है. Your aim is to gather information while controlling the client. Yes and no questions. जो already पता है, like I've said वो शुरू में भी. Simple, limiting kind of question. Your name is Salman? Yes, it is. वहां से नहीं कि what is your name, तो कहे you know it starts a story. No, your name is Salman, Ahmed, whatever. Yes. You are married? Yes or no. When there is no further information that is required, ask the yes and no question. Get over the yes and no questions first. Closed, semi-closed questions are very important. they obviously control the information that is coming, and they will be of short length. What is your name, please? You're just asking the name. When did you leave your husband's house? Exactly, आपने उसको point पे लेके close कर दिया. I just want one information. आपने घर कब leave किया अपने husband? ये नहीं, nothing else. वो सीधे उस पे जाए. These are called closed or semi-closed questions. पूरा example closed question का, when you moved in with your family, you stayed with your sister Sarah or your brother Ali. ये completely closed है. मुझे पता है मैंने क्या information लेनी है, मेरे पास सिर्फ दो options है. या मैं अपनी बहन सारा के साथ रही थी या भाई अली के साथ, उसका वो जवाब देगी. नो आगे पीछे. These are the examples of semi-closed and closed. Open questions obviously आपको freedom दे देता है आपके client को of what to say. And that obviously is required, especially because there is an information that you need. So I would suggest yes or no questions followed by closed, semi-closed question, and then you give them a free place to speak whatever they want. On important points, what was your relationship with your mother as a child? Now she will talk. वहां से आप अपनी notes लेना शुरू करेंगे, gather करेंगे और information और सवाल पूछे होंगे. What do you consider your job for the breakdown of the communication with your wife? So you are taking him to the point where he's going to start with his job, problems in his job. Do you think financial problems started once you moved out of your family home? So these are open questions where he can or she can give you a lot of information which you can use. Semi-open questions, they give you the control yet allow you to get more information. It imposes limits upon the answers expected. Please tell, where were you on 18th May 2018 after leaving your office before returning home at 1 a.m. मैंने बिल्कुल उसको उधर उसको ना आगे ना पीछे, after leaving the office, कब, but before returning at 1 a.m. I know that he's gone home at 1 a.m. So during that time, यानी कि 6 बजे अगर वो दफ्तर से निकला है, 6 से 8 बजे के बीच में आपके दफ्तर. Your wife called at 9 p.m. What did you tell her? Again, I took him to that thing. Everyone from your office left at 10 p.m. Who else was there when you left at 1 a.m.? Each question gives the client a clear picture of what type of information is being asked for, but at the same time leaves the client with sufficient freedom to give detailed reply. Simple questions देख लेते हैं. Simple questions बड़े ज़रूरी होते हैं जब आप अपने client से information ले रहे होते हैं, conference में instructions ले रहे होते हैं. It breaks the intensity of the environment that's being created. So if it's a murder case or if it's whichever kind of case, there's a lot of intensity that's being developed. So you ask simple questions in between. So अगर वो कोई holiday की बात कर रही है, she just come back, so you can talk about, did you enjoy your holiday? Was the weather good? What treatment did the hospital administer you to your wounds? Were you satisfied? These are everyday forms to build comfort with the client, and it gives them that slight relaxation when you're asking very tough or very important or mind कि वो अगर वो ट्रॉमा से गुजरी है या अपसेट है, तो वो उसको ये सिंपल क्वेश्चंस हेल्प करते हैं. लीडिंग क्वेश्चंस हमने किए, ये थोड़े से और देख लेते हैं. Leading questions, he is going to obviously either agree or disagree. You saw Mr. X outside N restaurant last Saturday morning at 10 a.m. didn't you? Yes or no? वही चीज है, वही format है. Another type of leading question would be when you give a choice of answers. You were wearing red or black jacket that night. So you are again giving the choice of answers, but they are leading. So conclusion में जब आप conference करते हैं, always have a written plan. Please read the law. अगर वो आ रहा है और वो कह रहा है उसका family dispute है, family law पढ़े. वो कह रही है कि उसका कंपनी का कोई issue है, आप कंपनी के मैटर से वाइंडिंग अप कर रहे हैं, आप वाइंडिंग अप का लॉ पढ़े. You have to know the law प्लान स्ट्रैटेजी, ये yes और no है, मुझे सवाल पता है, ये इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें हैं जो मैंने उससे पूछना है. Confirm and check the information once you've attained or once you've got all the information from your client. एक दफा उससे वेरीफाई कर रहे हैं, आप ये कह रही हैं उस दिन 8 बजे आपने ये कहा, ये हुआ था. Basic simple question will establish trust, so I think it's very important to have that. इतने भी आप वो ना हो rigid कि वो आपसे friendly ना हो सके, but इतना हो कि there is a good rapport, there is a good relationship, professional relationship with you guys. Ensure you have obtained clients full instructions. ये जितनी एविडेंस है, जो उसने फैक्ट्स बताए हैं, उसी वक्त आप ले लें, वरना obviously you'll have to have another meeting. Invite client to further raise their concerns. After you have attained whatever information, please advise. और वो एडवाइस कब कर सकते हैं? अगर लॉ का पता हो. अगर मुझे ये नहीं पता कि थेफ्ट के केस में मुझे 7 साल जेल होगी, या अगर मैंने 2 दफा पहले वारदात की हुई है और अगर मेरी पहली दफा वारदात है तो मेरी 3 साल है, then I will be giving wrong advice. और अगर मुझे ये नहीं पता इसमें कोई और एस्पेक्ट भी आता है, या कोई और इसमें असॉल्ट का भी इशू है, अगर रॉबरी है, असॉल्ट है, so these things if you don't know, you will not be able to advise your client. That is why read the law, read the latest judgment, whatever jurisprudence there is on it. Should clear understanding of what the client's version is. Now listening. In the conference, the client and the lawyer will be sharing the task of listening. You as a lawyer must be alert to the degree to which the client comprehends what you say and be aware of his or her powers of concentration. Sometimes your client is not going to listen to you at all. उनका mentally उनका वो उतने वो drain होते हैं, उनको समझ ही नहीं आ रही आप advice कर दे रहे. So what do you do then? You cut it off. You say, okay, I'll say 2 दिन बाद आप आए, take a break. I think you need a break. We'll have this meeting again. So don't be shy to do that. So this is your conference skills, guys, and thank you. I hope you learned something. Thank you.
क्लाइंट कॉन्फ्रेंस के मुताबिक